Cubs faithful, gather around because what I'm about to tell you might just change everything we thought we knew about this 2025 season. The North Side has been buzzing with electricity lately, and for good reason. But beneath all that excitement, there's been a storm brewing. One that involves desperation, opportunity, and a decision that could either elevate our beloved Cubs to championship contention or become the most talked about gamble in recent franchise history. Right now as we speak, our rotation is hanging by a thread. Justin Steele is sidelined, Javier Assad is out, and Jameson Taillon is nowhere to be found on that mound. 3 key pieces of our pitching puzzle gone, just like that. And while our offense has been putting up numbers that make Wrigley Field shake with pure joy, what good is scoring runs when we can't stop the other team from doing the same? But here's where it gets interesting, Cubs Nation. Here's where the front office has been making calls, having conversations, and exploring possibilities that most teams wouldn't even dare to consider. Because sometimes the most broken things hold the greatest potential for redemption. Sometimes the biggest risks lead to the biggest rewards. Hit that like button if you're ready for what might be the most controversial trade discussion of the deadline, and don't forget to subscribe because what's coming next will have every Cubs fan either celebrating or questioning everything they thought they knew about this organization's direction. The whispers started quietly, but now they're roaring through the baseball world like a freight train heading straight for the friendly confines. ESPN's Jeff Passan just dropped a bombshell that has every Cubs fan doing a double take, and honestly, it's the kind of move that could define our entire season. We're talking about Sandy Alcantara, Cubs faithful, the former Cy Young Award winner, the guy who absolutely dominated baseball just 3 years ago, the pitcher who made hitters look foolish and had an ERA that made grown men weep with envy. But here's the thing, and this is where it gets complicated. 2025 has been nothing short of a nightmare for this guy. We're talking about a 7.22 ERA. Let that sink in for a moment. 7.22. That's not just bad, that's historically awful. That's the kind of number that makes you question everything you thought you knew about baseball. But Passan isn't backing down from this idea, and neither should we, because sometimes the most broken superstars are just one change of scenery away from rediscovering their magic. The financial commitment is staggering. $38.3 million over the next 2 years. That's luxury tax territory, Cubs Nation. That's the kind of money that would push us past the $241 million threshold and into uncharted waters for this organization. But here's what Passan is saying, and pay attention because this is crucial. With Kyle Tucker's deal expiring at the end of the year, with our offense firing on all cylinders, with our defense rock solid, and our bullpen holding things together, there's no time like the present. This isn't just about adding any pitcher, this is about adding a former Cy Young winner who's still only 29 years old, still under team control through 2027, and still showing glimpses of the dominant force he once was. The question isn't whether he can return to form, it's whether the Cubs are bold enough to bet on redemption. But wait, Cubs faithful, because there's more to this story. While everyone's focused on the big names and the blockbuster moves, something else has been happening behind the scenes. Something that shows this organization's commitment to not just winning now, but building a sustainable future. Something that involves a young talent who might just be the missing piece to our championship puzzle. The 2025 MLB draft is approaching, and the Cubs hold the number 17 overall pick. Now, you might think that's not exciting compared to all this trade deadline drama, but hold on. This organization has proven time and again that they know how to find gems in the middle of the first round. Matt Shaw at number 13, Cam Smith at 14, both absolute steals who are already contributing to this team's success. And now, according to Keith Law's latest mock draft, the Cubs are eyeing Wake Forest shortstop Marrick Houston. This isn't just any college player. This is a defensive wizard who slashed .354, .458, .597 with 15 home runs and 66 RBI in 61 games last season. Career high power numbers, projectable tools, and the kind of bat that could rise quickly through our farm system. But here's what makes this even more intriguing. We traded away Cam Smith to get Kyle Tucker, which depleted our infield pipeline. Houston could be the perfect replacement, the kind of value pick that Shaw was 2 years ago. A college bat with the tools to contribute sooner rather than later. The Cubs have shown a propensity for college players, and Houston fits that mold perfectly. He's not just a contact hitter. He's a complete player with the defensive skills to anchor our infield for years to come. The kind of foundation piece that championship teams are built on. This is where everything comes together. Cubs Nation. This is where the present meets the future, where desperation meets opportunity, where the biggest gamble in recent Cubs history might just be the move that changes everything. Because while we're all focused on the trade deadline drama, while we're debating whether to take a chance on a struggling former Cy Young winner, while we're wondering if this front office has the guts to push past the luxury tax threshold, there's been one name that keeps coming up in all these conversations. One player who represents everything this organization is trying to build. The Cubs aren't just looking for any solution. They're looking for the right solution. They're looking for someone who can handle the pressure of Wrigley Field, who can thrive in the spotlight, who can be the ace this rotation desperately needs. And that someone might just be the most controversial name on the trade market right now. Sandy Alcantara isn't just a reclamation project. He's a statement. A statement that the Cubs believe in redemption, that they believe in second chances, that they believe this is their year to make a run at something special. Yes, the ERA is terrifying. Yes, the financial commitment is massive. Yes, the risk is enormous, but Cubs faithful, sometimes the biggest risks lead to the biggest rewards. Sometimes the most broken superstars become the most inspiring comeback stories. Sometimes a change of scenery is all it takes to rediscover greatness. This trade would reward a team that has brought excitement back to the north side. It would show that this organization is serious about competing not just this year, but for years to come. With Alcantara signed through 2027, with Houston potentially joining the pipeline, with our current core firing on all cylinders, this could be the foundation of something truly special. So hit that like button if you believe in second chances, smash that subscribe button if you want to see how this story unfolds, and let me know in the comments. Are you ready for the Cubs to take the biggest gamble in franchise history? Because Cubs Nation, this isn't just about adding a pitcher. This is about believing in redemption, betting on greatness, and proving that sometimes the most broken things can become the most beautiful. The question isn't whether we should make this move. It's whether we're brave enough to believe in the impossible.